What is good, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we'll be recapping this past season and telling you every storyline you need to know going into Call of Duty Champs this next weekend. With the release of Black Ops 6, everyone was very excited for this game. Omni movement was new, it was fun, it was smooth, and we were really looking forward to a good season. And then when the season got closer, the professional players actually GA'd, which stands for Gentlemen's Agreements, where they agreed not to use certain things. Snipers and smokes, and when you don't have snipers in the game for search and destroy, it really hurts the viewer experience because so many big moments are with a sniper in search and destroy. You're always watching to see if that sniper can get that first blood, and unfortunately we did not have any snipers in the game this year. Just to put it out there, I did vote yes to have snipers in. Unfortunately, the vote did not pass because each team takes a vote. I think you need 9 votes saying yes to get something passed and in, but unfortunately snipers and smokes were not allowed in the game. Another big thing was the Vegas Falcons fielding an all Saudi Arabian team and joining the CDL, coached by Call of Duty legend Clayster. The community didn't know what to expect out of this team, and unfortunately for them, they did not win a hardpoint for quite a while. I think they set the record for the longest hardpoint losing streak and match losing streak in the CDL until they made some changes, got some big names, and were able to start winning some maps and winning a series. K-Stan hosts a LAN event with 4 of the most hyped teams going into the Black Ops 6 season. This is before all the regular season stuff started, so this is really the first look of competitive Black Ops 6 on LAN with teams like Atlanta FaZe, Optic Texas, Cloud9 New York, and LA Thieves. LA Thieves actually came out of the tournament with a win, so the super team that formed was able to win their first time on LAN. Yes, it wasn't a major, but the first time they formed and played together, they won that tournament. And there was a new tournament that the CDL added this past season, which were called Minors. Minors were an online tournament, which were single elimination. All 12 teams in the league would compete in them. The top 4 teams with the highest seeding would have a bye the first round. The other 8 would play each other. Whoever won those first round matchups would go on to play the top 4 seeds. And for this tournament, the winning team, if you got first, would get a lot of pro points and $20,000 cash prize. So $5,000 a piece per player. Second, third, and fourth would just get pro points, which were really important for the run later in the season to qualify for Call of Duty Champs. And Atlanta FaZe, after struggling in their first couple league matches, actually came out on top of the Minor 1 and won the tournament. And then we made it to Major 1 in Madrid, the first time Call of Duty has ever hosted a major tournament in Spain, and the first time we've had a tournament in Europe since about 2020. So about 5 years since the last time we've ever been there. So many people showed up for it. The crowd was so loud. So many people from surrounding countries also showed up to support their favorite teams and players as well. Gentlemates has a very big French following, and they were going crazy for their team. Even when their team wasn't playing, they were chanting, they were getting so hyped. It was awesome to see. Unfortunately, LAG did not make a deep run in that tournament. So after they were knocked out, the rest of the fans supported Hydra, another French player, and they were going crazy for him. LAT actually ended up losing at Major 1 in the grand finals, Game 7, Round 11 versus Atlanta FaZe.
Immediate jump, it is brains, not brawn. The get FaZe the win! You can take your superstars all the way to the final moment.
And unfortunately, Scrap and Draza did not fist bump. And at the beginning of Stage 2, Vancouver Surge makes a big change. They replace Hixie with Neptune after a lackluster Stage 1 performance. And Neptune's been a professional Call of Duty player before on a couple different teams, throughout a couple different titles. And then I think he went to play Halo for a little bit, but ended up coming back into Call of Duty, playing Challengers, and then getting picked up by Vancouver Surge. I don't think anyone knew how big of an impact he would make on this team. He completely turned them around because they got 12th place at the first major, and they ended up getting 2nd place at this major too. And he was playing phenomenal. They actually got swept by FaZe in the grand finals, and FaZe was able to three-peat from EWC last season in MW3 to Major 1 and Major 2. And also, Celium told Attach to retire as well while talking shit after beating them in a match. During the Stage 3 qualifiers, Vegas Falcons makes a big change after getting rid of majority of their roster and picking up Pred, Arcides, and Priesthood alongside Exnid to complete their new team. And I believe their first win of the season was actually versus Optic.
So close they could taste it. The first series win for the Vegas Falcons.
Pred's old team, which was pretty crazy. And Arcides tweeted when he got picked up, "I won't fumble again." And at Major 3, we played in a college gymnasium, FAU, I believe was the campus. We play on the basketball court. We were playing on main stage right behind the 3-point line, and Cloud9 matched up with Atlanta FaZe in the first round of losers round 1 after being upset by Vancouver Surge. And then Celium actually did retire attach. Bean was having some visa issues while traveling and was not able to compete at the Major 3 tournament. So last second, the day before the tournament starts, Mercules gets picked up by Toronto Ultra, and they make a pretty deep run, and Mercules makes a name for himself at this tournament. LAT was also able to win their first major of the season and Ghostie's first major win of his career. So they finally did it. The super team was finally able to get that win. Seattle Surge also got second again. Unfortunately, they also got swept again. So back-to-back seconds, back-to-back getting swept in the finals. Major 4 was a breath of fresh air for the Call of Duty fans. It was the first time there's been a Call of Duty tournament at DreamHack in over a decade. There was also a main stage and a side stage. So you would watch a team play on main stage, you could see a team play on the side station. So there's matches always going on. And also the Challengers Open bracket was in the same venue. So it had that old school kind of MLG event feel, and you could feel the passion there. And I don't know if it was the old school setup that was at this event that brought the passion out of everyone, but there was so much drama at this event. There was a classic match between Atlanta FaZe versus Optic Texas, a super close, intense match. You could feel the energy through the stream. The crowd was so loud. It was incredible. And then you have Miami versus LAT. Previously, there was a podcast that LAT did, the players, and they were pretty much calling Super a kill whore, saying this and that about his playstyle.
Rookie Super had your number.
Super. Don't get me started on how this guy's playing. If I play like that, I might have a 1.6. Baiting the whole damn team.
And they actually matched up in the winner's bracket. Miami was able to take them out, and that was a pretty big win for them. But it got even crazier. As they're going to say GG's across the stage, they're fist bumping. Scrap holds his hand up. Super's talking trash, but he fist bumps him, and he hits his hand a little too hard. So Scrap's hand comes back, hits Scrap in his own face, and then it gets pretty heated up there. Scrap grabs Super by his collar on his shirt or his jersey, and thankfully the teams get separated. Nothing too bad happens, but you could really see the passion up there. The next day, LAT actually gets their revenge through losers. They beat Toronto to start the day, and they play Miami. They beat them and make it to the grand finals where they will face off versus Atlanta FaZe. And LAT was also able to take Major 4 as well. So that's back-to-back majors for LAT, Major 3, Major 4. And now this is the first time in the CDL history that Atlanta FaZe will not be the #1 seed going into the Call of Duty Championship at the end of the season. LAT was able to take the #1 seed. And unfortunately for Seattle Surge, they got second, and at Major 4, they bombed out and got 12th. Simp and Abizi have won the last 2 Treyarch COD champs, which is Black Ops 4 and Cold War. So we're gonna see if they can get their 3rd ring on a Treyarch title this next coming week. FaZe and LAT have both won 2 events this season each. Whoever wins this event will be the best team in Black Ops 6. There's a heated MVP race between Hydra, Scrap, Celium, and I'll let you guys argue in the comments who you think is gonna win the MVP race, but this tournament could indicate and could be the reason someone wins. Rencor was a pickup on the Miami Heretics earlier this season. He was lights out all season. He is definitely the rookie of the year. And once they picked up Super as well to complete their roster with Rencor, Super, Real, and Metals, it's the best Spanish roster they've ever had. And they already have 2 top 3 placings in this season, which they have not done before this. So going into CDL champs, people have them as a top 3, top 4 team going into it to look out for, because they've beat LAT and they show that they can keep up with these other top teams, because they've also beat FaZe as well at Major 3. So everyone's excited to see what Miami does and how they show up at CDL champs. It's been a roller coaster of a year for the Optic Texas team, and I'm sure their fans as well, with Pred being released, then Hugh gets picked up, then Hugh gets dropped, then he gets picked back up. So a ton of different changes. Optic going into CDL champs now has Mercules, Dashy, Shotzi, and Hugh as their 4. And it looks like their most well-rounded team they've had so far in this Black Ops 6 season. Mercules was a great pickup, and apparently Hex was the one that really made the call on picking him up, which was a great call. He's a great player with tons of talent, super young as well, and we're excited. Everyone's excited to see how he plays and competes at his first CDL champs, because they have a good roster and they can definitely make a deep run in this tournament. And for the rest of the teams going to CDL champs, you have Vancouver Surge, seeing if they can right their wrongs after a top 12 finish at Major 4. and they can get back to the team that we know them to be when they got second, and if they can make a deep run at this tournament. Then you have Toronto Ultra. Toronto Ultra has not been able to make it to a grand finals this year when they've pretty much been a shoe-in, at least for a couple grand finals in the past. They've had Joe DeCivzo, who has been a all-star all season. He's definitely the most improved player from last year into this season. And there's even talks of him being a top 5 or a potential MVP candidate. So they're going to be looking for their first time to get to the grand finals or win a tournament. It's in Canada, in Kitchener, which is not too far away from Toronto. So I'm sure they're going to have a lot of hometown support, and it's going to be very loud because Toronto Ultra is actually hosting this tournament. So I'm sure they're going to be giving stuff out and doing things to support the boys. Then you have Carolina. Carolina, they started the season off very well. They were winning a lot of Game 5 S&Ds. They were looking great. And after they got rid of Vivid and they picked up Dylan Rex, things have not been looking too good for them. They've been on a pretty big losing streak. They're like 1-9 in their last 10 matches. So we're going to see if they can bounce back, because there was a long break between Major 4 and CDL Champs. As we know, most of us forgot that CDL Champs was even happening. So we're going to see if Chroma Cookie TJ and Old Man Slasher, who are both players that are used to the pressure and have won championships before, see if they can make a deep run in the CDL Champs. With Boston Breach has it up and down. Each player in Boston Breach has had a good stage, a bad stage, and they've had just an up and down season. So they've actually been able to upset LAT a couple times. They beat them out LAN at Major 2. They beat them online as well. And they match up with them first round. So we'll see if they catch LAT lacking again, or if LAT is coming in, taking care of business right off the bat. And that is all the storylines and teams you need to be looking out for at CDL Champs. If you made it to the end of the video, you are a real one. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys all for watching. And as always, my name is Attach, and I'm out. Peace.